Greetings, everyone. It's Glenn Kellaway coming to you from the basement. How is everyone doing? This is a Tuesday afternoon here in Trenton, Ontario. I've been avoiding doing videos the last couple of days. Had some company, but also I just haven't come up with a cool topic. And I thought I would give some love to female artists. So what I wanted to do was present and rank my top 10 female artists, and then the albums that I think are, if you're not familiar with these artists, that I think you should listen to. Now obviously some of these artists are quite familiar to everyone, and the records need no introduction, but I'll introduce them anyway, because that's the kind of guy I am. So let's get started with this. Number 10, a roots artist, kind of bluegrassy, kind of folky, Sarah Gerrars. I just love this woman's voice. She's a young woman who's been around for quite some time now. I am a big fan of this album called Follow Me Down. It was released 2011, so that's how long she's been around, but she's a fairly young woman. This album, Follow Me Down, has a killer cover of Bob Dylan's Ring Them Bells on it, which I absolutely like. It's one of my favorite Dylan songs. So I highly suggest checking this out. This had a lot of guest artists on it. Sean Colvin and Victor Krauss, who's Alison Krauss's brother. Daryl Scott, great songwriter. Bela Fleck is guested on this album. Jerry Douglas, Stuart Duncan, a lot of familiar names in roots music. Really gave her a big push. Sarah Gerrars. I picked this album up of hers, used this year. It's from 2020, I think, or 2019 or something. It's called Undercurrent. Great record too. It's just, every song is real good. Just kind of acoustic guitar and vocals for the most part, and excellent artist. She's my number 10. Number 9. This woman needs no introduction. Emmylou Harris. Just phenomenal artist. Strongly suggest, if you're not into Emmylou and you don't, you think just that country, check out this album, Wrecking Ball, when she does a lot of covers on here. She does Steve Earle's Goodbye. She does Neil Young's Wrecking Ball, Every Grain of Sand, Bob Dylan cover, Lucinda Williams' Sweet Old World, May This Be Love, Jimi Hendrix, Waltz Across Texas, Rodney Crowell song. But this is a great album produced by Daniel Lanois. Probably my favorite Emmylou album. Also, Spy Boy. Another one, this one's produced by Buddy Miller. And terrific album. Love Hurts is on here. She's done, that song by Graham Parsons, Wild Wheels, Born to Run, Boulder to Birmingham. Just remakes of a lot of classic songs. But Emmylou's great. I mean, just an amazing vocal. Always has a great band. Emmylou Harris. Number 8. I am picking a Jones girl, Rickie Lee Jones. This is her debut album, which I'm trying to think of what year this came out, but blew me away. 1979 or 78. Chucky's in Love was a big hit off of this. There's a great toe tapper on here called Danny's All-Star Joint. Coolsville. Just a great debut album from this amazing artist. At this time she was, I think, hanging out with Tom Waits, and they were in a relationship for a while. I think she kind of hung out with that crowd, and the piano and the whole smoky kind of a thing, atmosphere in LA, and just great. Also, I've just finished reading her book last year, Last Chance Texaco, I think it was called. Excellent, excellent autobiography. Man, this girl had quite a life. Ricky Lee Jones. I also love this album here. It's an album of classic songs. Very eclectic mix. It's Like This, it's called. She does an amazing version of the Beatles for No One on here. Absolutely love it. She does Smile. The old, it's an old standard. Smile though your heart is breaking. I'm trying to think of who wrote it. And For No One is on here. Showbiz Kids, the Steely Dan song. Low Spark of High Heeled Boys, the Traffic song. Does an incredible voice. Does On the Street Where You Live, another old classic. Up the Lazy River, which is Hoagie Carmichael's song. Someone to Watch Over Me, which Willie did a great version of on the Stardust album. Someone to Watch Over Me, a Gershwin tune. Just great versions of these songs. Fantastic album. If you've never heard this, check it out. It's Like This, Ricky Lee Jones. That is number 8. Number 7, a woman I'm just such a huge fan of, Amy Helm. Amy is Levon's daughter. She's on tour right now, putting out her own music. She's a fantastic roots artist and plays drums and plays mandolin. She's got an incredible voice. I was fortunate enough to see her in the 90s in a showcase event for new bands, new artists at the Horseshoe Tavern in Toronto. She was playing in a band called Ola Bell, and she was just a young artist, just starting her out on her own. I since saw her at some of the Midnight Rambles with Levon. But this was the Ola Bell album. That was the name of the band that I saw her with. This was called Riverside Battle Songs. This was like a gospel blues band. Amazing, amazing band. Amy is, like I said, she's touring right now, I think with Mavis Staples. And this is another great, great Amy Helm album on red vinyl. It's called This Too Shall Light. She does just a great album, some of her own songs, and does a killer version of Freedom from the Stallion, the great Alan Toussaint song. Awesome, awesome singer, Amy Helm. Number 6, Canadian, from Ottawa, Ontario, Kathleen Edwards. I've been touting this album for years. Voyager is my favorite Kathleen Edwards album. She had put out an album out earlier this year or late last year. I guess it's probably been a year or so now. She's touring extensively. She took about 6 years off just to get her head all straightened out, and is back with a vengeance, touring all over. Her new album was getting great reviews. She puts on a great live show. She writes great introspective songs. If you've never heard Kathleen Edwards, check her out. Voyager is my favorite album. Fantastic record. Okay, Kathleen Edwards, we go to number 5. Artist that I am just in love with these days. I just think she's so cool. Follow her on Instagram, and would love to see her live. She played here a while ago. She opened for the Drive-By Truckers, and I really didn't want to see the Drive-By Truckers, but I was really interested in seeing Lydia Loveless. But I'd like to see her just do her own show. My favorite Lydia Loveless album is Somewhere Else, it's called. This is a great, great record. It's alt, country, rock, punk, twangy guitars, sometimes like, the Tom Petty-ish Rickenbacker kind of a sound. Writes really quirky lyrics. Her latest album, Daughter, is very introspective, kind of more mellow album. But this one rocks and also has some ballads on it. It's a great, great record. Lydia Loveless, Somewhere Else. I also love this one. It's called Real. it was the album that came out just after. This came out in 2016. Song that might be well known on here is called Bilboa. Just awesome artist. You can tell just by looking at her. She's kind of quirky and cool. Lydia Loveless. Check her out. Number 4. Well, you can't go wrong. This artist could be number one. Number 1 of all time for anybody is Joni Mitchell. I've got 2 favorite Joni Mitchell albums. Hey Jera and Blue. Both incredible records. My favorite Joni Mitchell song is off of Hey Jera. It's the second song called Amelia. Amelia, it was just a false alarm. Coyotes on this, the song she did on the Last Waltz performance. Just incredible. I got a chance to see Joni once, 1970 or 71 at Mariposa. I've told the story where I swam between the channels of the Toronto Islands to gate crash so I could see her. Yeah, Joni Mitchell, I mean, what can you say? One of the greatest artists of all time. Number 3, I just love this woman's voice. My second favorite female vocalist of all time. Just mad about her. Norah Jones, Come Away With Me. When this album came out, I don't know how many Grammys it won, I don't know how many records it sold, like 50 million records. It's still a great frickin' record. Came out earlier this year, or late last year, with the 50th anniversary. This is a 3-disc anniversary edition, which has demos and first session outtakes. It also has what they call the Alaire sessions, where she went and recorded all her songs with a different lineup of musicians in a different way. Then the record company rejected it, and they ended up doing them in the style that obviously was released on the record. And incredible album, incredible artist, incredible vocals. Big fan, Norah Jones. Number 2, Lucinda Williams. Man, if you don't have Car Wheels on a dusty road or gravel road, Car Wheels on a gravel road in your collection, you have an incomplete collection. This is one of the great alt-country albums of all time. Favorite song on here is Can't Let Go, but there's a million great songs on here. And just a killer album. I've gotten to see Lucinda a few times live, and she's an awesome artist. I have pretty much her whole catalog, and a big fan. Lucinda Williams, Car Wheels on a Gravel Road, and I'm also, this one just falls just below it as another classic, Ghosts of Highway 20. This one is much more folky and introspective. It's a lot deals with death, and her father had passed away, a lot of that kind of a thing, but just great. She also does a cover of Bruce Springsteen's Factory from, what's Factory on? Darkness on the Edge of Town? Or Born in the USA? I think it's Darkness. But anyway, you know the tune if you're a Springsteen fan. Lucinda Williams, check her out, amazing. And my favorite female artist of all time, my favorite female vocalist of all time. I've loved this woman since I was a teenager, and she did not, her star shone brightly, but sadly not for very long. The incredible Janis Joplin. I got to see Janis in 1970 in June. She passed away October 4th of that year, but her performance was so electric. I'll never forget it, and I was just a huge fan. And every time I hear the Grateful Dead's Bird Song, beautifully written by Robert Hunter, just brings tears to my eyes. My favorite Janis albums are obviously the album that I think anybody back then discovered her on was with Big Brother and Cheap Thrills. Just an incredible record. If you've never seen Janis's performance of Ball and Chain from Monterey, just look it up on YouTube. I mean, one of the great live performances of all time. And then her next album, she left Big Brother and went out on her own, kind of did like an R&B soul rock thing with got them old Cosmic Blues again, Mama, and then the album that she was working on when she sadly passed was Pearl, which came out posthumously, and just another great record. So that's my top 10. I want to give mentions to some female artists who are kind of in bands, I guess, that, like Chrissy, a big Chrissy Hynde fan from the Pretenders, Grace Slick from Jefferson Airplane, and Susan Tedeschi Trucks Band. Three more I'd like to mention. Bonnie Raitt, there's a whole bunch of them. So please feel free to join in and keep this going. If you want to start this as a thread, that would be awesome. Let's give some love to the female artists out there. Peace out, everyone. Have a great day. Take care.